All right, Andy, so here is your assignment. So I appreciate that you gave us some information about what you were hoping to do versus what you ended up having to do. And so, in some ways, I want to give you a lot of credit for coming together with a plan B, which is really important. And it's an acceptable plan B. So here are your images. Nice backlight here, nice rim. And then again. And then here is the long shot. And then here she is again. So what we're missing is a shot that talks about her vocation. We have no sense of what her vocation is. And like in any of these images, we don't see a connection between her and the setting. Maybe because there isn't one. And we're missing a still life. We do have a long shot. That's a beautiful long shot of that. That's just great. And I'll tell you why. Is because it's nice to have the nighttime, and then with the added electronic light that adds some sort of warmth to the surface of that building. The composition is really wonderful. And then the rest of these are portraits, and I guess they're environmental portraits because there is context around her in all of these, but none of them are telling us about her vocation. So we're missing a still life, and we're missing a shot that tells us what her vocation actually is. Because a lot of these, they feel like they could be not quite, but almost magazine shots for, selling us a product. Like this is very, very, environmental product photography. And I don't mean environmental like green. I mean, it's using some sort of made-up environment to sell us something. Well, I don't know what. And then these other two are trying to be portraits, but they're still not really telling us much about her. She's stern, and the lighting is easily as stern as her, so the lighting makes sense, but they're not really telling us anything else. So the goal in these stories is always for us to go through the 4 images without a backstory and be able to have a sense of what's going on. So here's your first image. So if I flip through them, I'm like, really tough-looking woman in tough-looking light. Tough-looking woman in tough-looking light. Barn. Tough-looking woman. No, actually softer. She's softer and feminine here. So here she's very feminine. So there's been, like a dynamic change here. And so I guess that's the story for me, is like, there's the barn. Oh, there, now she's a little bit more relaxed. This is a great, great image, by the way. But the story isn't really coming across. Let's see if we can go back to your contact sheets and find something that would help fill in the blanks. Hey, this is a great shot, too. Really like that. Oh, and these? Love these. This difference in light there. I mean, I honestly, I would love to see a fine art show of this idea really, this idea really thought out and really expanded upon. Like this sort of 2 different types of light with the window looking in and what you're looking into. I mean, I could see a gigantic body of work just with that idea alone. I mean, these are just really intriguing to me, visually and narratively. And I was a little bit remiss to not see any of these in your finals. Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. So this would be a vocational shot. It's telling us a little bit more about what this person does with her time. And out of all the shots with the baby, I really think that's your strongest one. I really do. I think it's got the best composition and the best, visual lead into her. So there would have been a vocational shot. And otherwise, we just have a lot of portraits and then 1 long shot. Does that make sense? There's a lot of technical quality to all these shots, so please don't think that I don't recognize the technical quality of all these images. But it's not telling us a story. It's not narrative at all. And so that's where, it would be your task to work on your artistry. Clearly you have room to work on showing narrative through your images. And I think that your harnessing of light quality is working very much in your favor here. But it's not really reeled in. We have 3 distinctly different types of light quality going on here. That maybe the one thing in common just between 2 of the images, but not 3, is some backlight that looks a bit like rim light. But that's really it. So I think for you can really think about narrowing in and the way to mature here would be to use a continuous type of light throughout a whole story, throughout a whole set of images that you would ultimately print out and hang together on the wall to be viewed as a unit, or put on pages of a book so that they would be flipped through in a certain order. You would use very specific light quality to tie those images together and to also choose your content carefully to tell us a story. Because that's not happening here. The light isn't tying these together and there isn't content. There's a lot of other intense, technical, admirable qualities to the images, but the light isn't tying them together and there just isn't content. It's just not there. Does that make sense? Okay, now I get it that it sounds like everything went wrong, like you know, best laid plans, you know, blah blah blah. But I have to give you feedback based on what I'm looking at. Okay, thank you. Thanks though. Like I said, the technical quality isn't missed. I still really enjoyed looking at your contact sheets. They're really, like I said, that idea with the looking, you know, with that, you know, that massively distorting wide-angle lens, looking from a distance into a light, like a, you know, that door that's illuminated much different than its surroundings. I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot to work on there. Okay, thanks.